What's up, freak bitches, wherever you may be, however you may be watching? Thank you for giving us just a few minutes of your time. And boy, if you were waiting for that Spider-Man trailer like so many other people, you are probably not disappointed. Here to talk about that, as well as a bunch of other trailers and some movie news with me, is my hetero life mate, Jeremy Wolner. What's going on, man?
Now that I have cooled down from the absolute bullshit that is this weather, and I am now probably more coherent than I would have been, I am ready to finally talk about these trailers.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump right to it. The first one is obviously the big trailer. I mean, that was the one that a lot of people were waiting on, and that is Spider-Man:
Yeah.
Far From Home. With the much anticipated trailer for Spider-Man: No Way Home finally dropping on Monday. It gave us a whole lot about the overall plot of the film. It also gave us some pretty killer visuals and an idea of where Peter Parker finds himself in life after being outed in the last film as Spider-Man. Jeremy, obviously you've seen the trailer as many times as I have. What are some of your thoughts?
I definitely have. And I have now, thankfully, I saw the trailer first, then I started seeing just the absolute slew of memes afterward. Um, I'm very excited about this. It didn't. There was no loss of like excitement or just being on the edge of my seat every time I've watched it and every subsequent viewing of it. I mean, we have the obvious the big drops of Doc Ock with Molina obviously come back. I mean that. I mean, this little fucker comes out like with a little shit-eating grin. He's like, "Hey, Peter." Like, oh, here we go. You see the Green Goblin bomb. That's all the things that I really caught first. And someone had a thing that was like, "Oh, there's a big thing, big electric flash in the sky. Hey, that's Electro." I'm like, I didn't think about that. That's probably true. And then something about, I mean, if that's it, that's fine. But then I saw something about like Lizard and someone else, and I can't remember which villain it was off the top of my head. But I don't know. This is about to be some wild shit.
Yeah, I
I love
saw a
how
lot of
we,
people mentioning seeing Lizard in the trailer. The place that
yeah,
they keep trying to point him out, I didn't quite see what other people were seeing, so I'm not 100% sure. I'll go back and try to watch it, a couple more times, because I haven't watched it about 50 times already. But I don't see what some of these people are seeing. Now, I am seeing the allusions to some other things, like Sandman and stuff like that, and I'll get to that in just a second.
Mhm.
But I,
That was it.
yeah,
Sandman, that was it. Thank you.
yeah, I
I almost
did
said,
see some of that, but I mean, the lizard and some of the other stuff they were seeing, like so many people are seeing Daredevil in this trailer. I'm like, come on, people,
ah,
just stop. I would love to see Charlie Cox come back and play Daredevil, but
no,
the
you know what
fact of the matter
the,
is they're not going to. If they wanted Charlie Cox in the universe, they would have either kept the Netflix show going, or they would just flat out announce that he's coming into the MCU proper. I don't understand why people want to. They kind of see what they want to see, but whatever. That's just my thought. Go ahead.
I almost punched my friend at work because we were watching it again. Or this is the next day. I showed him, and then I think it was this because it had to be. It's Marvel. He's like, you know who the bad guy is supposed to be or something. I was like, I mean, was Doc Ock not enough? And he said something about Mephisto, and I almost punched him. I'm like, stop! It's not. Stop! It's not happening. You tell me where you saw Mephisto, because I swear to fucking God, I saw him in a tree in WandaVision. I'm still,
It was the tree. It was the
yeah,
tree. The tree's Mephisto.
I know.
Just get over this Mephisto thing, people. Come on. It's not. It's. I really think if they were going to bring Mephisto in, they would have done it by now. I don't think they're going to do. At
Yeah.
least not in the near future in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They might do something with him down the line. I don't really know, but they're not doing it here. I mean, why have Mephisto in there when you've already got Doctor Strange? It's just sorcerer to sorcerer. It's not going to work in Spider-Man. Now he could very well pop up in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That makes a little more sense, but not in this movie.
Right.
What are some of your other thoughts?
Speaking of Doctor Strange, actually, that's a nice segue. I love how he's. It's not like, I mean, he's not like obviously like the ancient one, but I'm just like he knows what he's doing. It seems like, but he almost still seems kind of like I don't know when he's doing the little swirlies and his little jitsus and shit. It's because when Wong, why first of all his room is just like looking like the inside of fucking the Fortress of Solitude. I don't know. But then Wong takes off and he fucking lights the fire. He's like, "Oh, I won't do it." And he does like the most obvious fucking like Agnes wink ever. Like, I'm like, okay, well. And even he just kind of screws it up. I'm like, you think you would trust Doctor Strange a little bit to do this?
Sorry, JCS, that was my mistake. I clicked the wrong thing, but go ahead.
To me or him?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was talking to
Oh,
JC in the
okay,
chat.
okay. I mean, that's kind of it. I'm like, I don't. It almost kind of felt like, oh man, I trusted you, and well, even though Peter kind of fucked it up a little bit, I guess he kind of interfered in some way, and it kind of created this whole cataclysmic event going on. It like maybe I'm thinking of the memes where everyone like where it's always Doctor Strange like face palming, like, God damn it, what did you guys fucking do now to clean this mess? And I'm like, he kind of just caused a little bit of a mess. So now we got to go fix that. The city's like inceptioning in on itself and bullshit. So you know, yikes.
Yeah, already some people in the chat asking some questions. Will Iron Patriot be in the film? I really don't think so.
Someone asked me about Miles Morales because we do mention Prowler in was it Homecoming, so like he exists, right? Maybe a Miles Morales out of nowhere. I'd be okay with that.
Well, that one black lady that he's talking to in the car, get like a real quick version of her. Somebody has said that that's Miles Morales. That she is related to Miles Morales. It's his mother is Andrew.
I wondered about that.
So that's
because I'm like
him being introduced into this universe.
Yeah, I was like, who the hell is this lady? I was like, I'm like you. I'm pausing every frame, looking at it, like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? You know, I don't know who that was. Also, hold on, one last thing. When he's, it maybe just be the way the trailer's cut, but I wonder how that I guess showdown between him and Alpha Merlina is going to go down, because he comes right out and he immediately is just like, hey, Peter. I'm like, wait, if he's used to seeing Tobey Maguire's face, how does he know he's Spider-Man? Because then it shows him like flip down and like in the superhero stance, and then the fucking Iron Spider suit comes over top of him. I'm like, he doesn't know who the fuck this kid is. Now, if he had the suit on already, then he came up to him and was like, that's definitely a Spider-Man. So he's like, oh, that's definitely Peter Parker. I'm like, wait, how does he know him? That he knows that kid is Peter Parker? That's what I was confused about.
Well, there is. I've heard some other people online talking about that he either at that point maybe he's already fought this version of Spider-Man, so he already knows who he is, or maybe he switches to the suit before Doc Ock comes out of the smoke, and then all Doc Ock sees is Spider-Man.
That's what I'm saying.
Not really giving a shit that he's in this new costume that he has never seen, but all he sees is Spider-Man. So, but he already knows, because he does find out in Spider-Man 2 that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, so he knows. He already has this knowledge, so...
Yeah, I'm like, unless he switched to the suit beforehand.
That's one of the many things that's going to be answered pretty quickly in the movie. I don't think it's all that important. But yeah, I mean, that is something that was interesting that I noticed the first time as well.
Hmm.
Anyway, do you have any more thoughts about it all? Because I have notes.
I had thought of something else, and I don't remember. Oh, I think when they said the Goblin, who exactly is the Goblin? Is it going to be? Because of course I saw a little meme where it's like James Franco like turning around, he's like winking. I'm like, maybe. And then someone's like, oh crap, is it going to be the one from Andrew Garfield's where it's supposed to be Harry Osborn? I'm like, look, if you have Willem Dafoe walk out on that set, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. If it's him, either way, I don't really care, but if you bring Willem Dafoe back, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. For real.
Yeah. No doubt. But look, here's some of the things that I noticed upon my 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th whatever of viewing the trailer is number one, Doctor Strange is no idiot. Doctor Strange would have to know that this spell is probably going to have some negative ramifications. Why the hell would Doctor Strange, who even though he himself is fairly new to the wizarding and stuff like that, is a pretty smart guy. He's already read all the warnings. He's already been through what he's been through with the Time Stone and Dormammu in the first film. Why would he just so devil-may-care say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and cast a spell, even though I was just warned by somebody who's got way more experience in this wizarding thing than I do, that it would be a bad idea?
That's what I'm saying.
It's
like, I trusted you, dude.
It's really... and that's one of the things that spurns this... And Awani just put it in the chat. It spurns this theory that Strange is Mephisto, or is at the
God damn it!
I know, but it's or that at some point in this film we actually get an alternate version of Doctor Strange, because there is this scene that
Doctor Strange
that shows Doctor Strange in his little meditation, floating, sitting down place, kind of like what we see when he sees the 18,407 variations of how Endgame is.
Yeah.
He's actually looks kind of disheveled, and then he looks like he's in kind of a torn up, bombed out version of the Sanctum Sanctorum. So I don't really know if we're gonna get, like, we could have the legit Doctor Strange early in the movie who actually casts the spell for Peter, but something happens along the way and he gets a little screwed up too. That's one theory, but I don't understand why Doctor Strange would do something that he would know to be careless. That doesn't.
And I wonder. That's what I was kind of getting at. I'm like, I don't know why It's almost like you think, okay, he probably has his shit together, at least to a degree where he knows how to do the spells. But I'm like, I don't think he quite. I mean, just seems kind of careless with it, which is kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fuck, I lost it. Damn it. Carry on.
But the other thing I noticed is there is a lot of allusions to the Sinister Six in this trailer. And what's up, Really Mysterious? I see you, buddy. I want to say hi to you a minute ago, but Jerry's making his point. Now, we know for a fact Vulture exists in this universe, so there's Vulture.
Yes.
We know for a fact, we see it very clearly in the trailer, that Doc Ock now exists. Now, whether he makes it past this movie or not, I don't know. But we'll see.
Well,
we know also that Electro's going to be in this film, or that Jamie Foxx is playing Electro in this film, even though he's not in the trailer. We do see that yellow lightning thing happening kind of early in the trailer, so I think it's allusion to him. Obviously, we see Goblin's grenade and we hear the laugh. So, so we're looking at Green Goblin. They do have that little allusion to Sandman in the one scene where you can kind of see that human shape kind of coming up out of the rubble in the sand. That's kind of an allusion to him, I think. A lot of people are saying they've seen Lizard. I don't know what they're talking about, but whatever. So I think Sony obviously wants to do a Sinister Six kind of thing. They wanted to do it starting with Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man, but that second movie went so terribly wrong. But they really want to do it. I think they're trying to set it up. I don't know if they're setting it up as something to do after they finally pull Spider-Man back from Marvel and say, okay, he's ours now. We're not going to have any more Marvel stuff, which is possible, even though I think that's a mistake. But
I'll take it from Sony.
Yeah, I did see those references. Did you catch all those things as well?
Yeah, I had to go back. Like I caught the obvious. As soon as I saw the little fucking pumpkin bomb roll in, I was like, and then I saw the fucking tentacle come up. I'm like, oh my god! And then I didn't catch the lightning thing until later, and then the other ones where people were like, "Oh, there's Sandman." I was like, "Oh, okay. Okay, I see that." And I still have no idea where the hell Lizard's at or what the comparison is. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh wait, I remember. Hold on, I remember my point now. When Peter went to Doctor Strange and said, "Hey, can you make everyone forget that I was Spider-Man?" I'm like, wait, does that include Doctor Strange? Because, I mean, he was going through like, oh, crap, what about MJ? What about his best friend? What about my aunt? What about, Happy? Like, what about him? I'm like, shit, this might cause a bigger problem. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I thought when he did the spell, I thought Doctor Strange was going to be like, okay, who are you, kid? And why are you in my fucking house? I was kind of worried there for a minute. I'm like, maybe not, because he's the one who did it. Although he did tell him, that's not really how the spell works. I'm like, do you know how the spell works? Because I'm kind of sus there, Doctor Strange.
Awani said he was in the dark in a cage. The Lizard. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it again. Because I remember the scene that everybody said it was in. It was a very dark scene. It wasn't well lit at all. Very, very shitty.
You didn't see the...
But I don't know. I'll have to look again.
No, you know what it is. It's like the fucking sailboat in Mallrats. Staring at it the whole fucking time. Like, yeah, you see the lizard? No, I don't see it. Touch your head. That kid is on the escalator again.
Damn it, why does that kid see it and I can't? You know, Awandi asked an interesting question in the chat. If Thanos destroyed the Eye of Agamotto, Doctor Strange has the Time Stone in this film. I know, honestly, I didn't look directly for the Time Stone, so I'm not sure.
That's true. Was it around his neck? I don't know.
I'll have to go back and look at the trailer again to see. I wasn't looking specifically
for
the Time Stone because it's not significant in the MCU anymore, so I don't know.
No. Didn't this take... Hold on, this took place, after...
Oh, yeah, this technically speaking takes place in the future, because the MCU is set 5 years ahead of us.
Whoa, wait.
Time to pass in the snap.
Well, yeah, didn't, wouldn't that mean that? I mean, he's still a sorcerer, right? But didn't Cap put all the stones back by this point then?
I
So are we?
you see that's the I don't know. Again, time travel. I hate it. I don't know why they use it in movies.
Well, I'm not.
But
I know.
here's the thing: it's Cap goes and puts them all back, but doesn't that mean that it got put back in place for
Oh, for
her
him to
to
take
give
it
to
again?
him, and for him to give it up again to Thana? I don't know. Like, goddamn time travel. I hate it.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't looking for the time stone in the trailer. I was looking at the spell. I don't think he necessarily needs a time stone to do the spell. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But
he can still do his thing.
Anyway, it didn't seem like it, so I don't know. But
well, maybe this explains. I will never be mad if you cast J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson. I will never be mad about that. But I was like, wait, maybe this explains it. Maybe something slipped through, and I'm like, he's still.
And he is in the trailer. He does show in the trailer as well. So,
yeah, I can hear him.
I don't know that he will be as big a part of this franchise as he was the Tobey Maguire stuff. He's obviously being set up as more of an Alex Jones kind of character, just this guy on a YouTube show.
Spider-Man!
Yeah, so I think that's probably what he'll be, as more of a background thing. Because I figure if Peter was going to go work for the Daily Bugle, they probably would have had him do some shit with it by now. So maybe the Daily Bugle won't really play a big factor in this. At least not in the next couple. Not until they do their first movie away from Marvel. I don't know.
It's also kind of like the Tobey Maguire movie is also kind of like minor. Sadly, already kind of like slightly dated. Where I'm like, it's a newspaper. I mean, I know they do that a lot in comics, but I'm like, even in 2000. When the movie came out 2001 or something like that, 2002, it still kind of made sense. And I'm like, now he'd just, like you said, he'd be an Alex Jones, like on the fucking news kind of thing. Still a news thing, but just like kind of a live broadcast or some shit. But
one of the other things that I noticed in the trailer is when Doctor Strange is casting that spell, everything that goes on in the middle of doing it, it looks kind of like when Thor is traveling through the Rainbow Bridge to go between places and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it looks like that, but that entire sequence right there, we only got about 2 or 3 seconds of it. I have a feeling that sequence is probably going to be a lot longer. It's probably going to be somewhere in there that sequence of whatever is going on, whatever magic is happening. It's probably going to last. It's probably going to last about 20 or more seconds, and we're going to see a lot of shit happen while this spell is taking hold. That's where we might see some kind of thing in the background of Doc Ock being sucked through a portal into this world, of maybe one of the other Spider-Men being sucked through into this world. I think that's probably where it all goes wrong. I think clearly where it all goes wrong, but I mean, we're going to see those visuals in there are very interesting, and obviously they're not going to give them to us in the trailer. But what do you think about that particular scene and how that's going to go when we finally get a chance to watch it?
I mean, I agree with you now that I think about it. It might be longer because, I mean, we do see... I think that was the hint towards it. You see Doctor Strange, and I assume Peter is on that little, like, subway and shit. There's, like, fucking 10 subways all just melding around and going this way. I was like, that reminds me of when Tobey Maguire and Alpha Molina were fighting on the fucking subway in the second movie. I was like, is that a hint to that? So it looks like he's still casting some shit and doing something. So I'm like, that might be the start of the spell, and maybe it goes off into this whole other thing. I don't know. And again, I don't know what the city is doing in Inception, doing the Inception crap on itself and just folding inwards, but it's not just gonna be a hey, do the spell. Oh crap, everyone's gonna forget. Snap. Done. Go do your movie. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, a couple other things I noticed is there is no mention, no allusion again to Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield in this trailer. I don't think they would have put it in here anyway. Even if these two are in the movie, I don't think it's going to be put in there. For one, the first trailer, you're not going to put them in the first trailer. I think if they have Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield in here, that they're going to wait till the very end of the very last trailer that comes out a week or two before the movie, before you actually confirm that. Or it's not going to be the trailers at all. They're just going to say, you know what, if you want to find out,
let it be a surprise.
Go to the damn movie. Which is what I would do. I think that'd be kind of refreshing. But I do believe that probably the last trailer that we get for this thing is going to confirm towards the very end. We're going to see at least one of them, maybe both of them at some point in that last trailer. What do you think?
Yeah, it would be a smart idea to, I mean, I guess hold off on it, and then as we get closer to time, I mean, that not like the hype train isn't going to be fucking rolling, but if you see Peter sitting there, I mean, this Peter, Tom Holland sitting there talking to somebody, and then like you see it around this, the two of them stand there like, all right, so what do we do? I'm like, oh, it'd be like, oh shit, and that's the cutaway title screen. Or, like you said, if not, I thought they weren't going to do a trailer in the first place because I thought you said, okay, I want this to be a genuine experience. I want you guys to actually go see this movie and actually just like experience it. And I'm like, that's cool, but just you can't give us a little something. You don't have to spoon feed it to us. Just we're already hyped enough as it is. Maybe letting it be a surprise, it'd be fun because the whole theater is going to freak the goddamn fuck out.
Yeah. Awandi says in the chat he thinks the main villain is going to be Osborn. I don't think it's going to be Osborn. I don't think the main villain is going to be any of the particular bad guys. I think it's going to be kind of like Star Trek 4, where the main villain is kind of the situation rather than one particular antagonist. That Peter's like, he's in this situation, he's been outed, it's causing him a lot of chaos, he's afraid for the safety and security of the people around him and close to him. So he goes to Doctor Strange, asks this favor, and Doctor Strange again makes a very careless decision to help him, and then the chaos that ensues after that is going to be the big dilemma that he faces, not really from a particular person. Now, Doc Ock and some of these people are obviously going to cause some problems for Peter along the way, but I think that the main antagonistic issue that he's going to have to deal with is the situation. What do you think?
Yeah, because now we have a bigger problem that didn't. You throw the rock in the pond, and then it's like, well, here come the ripples. Now we made a bigger splash than you anticipated. I think, my guy.
Yeah.
Like you said, not that fucking Goblin, Electro, Doc Ock, and I guess the Sandman, the Lizard, fucking Vulture, Rhino. I don't fucking care who. Not that they're not going to cause a problem, but. Yeah, now it's going to be trying to reverse this shit because, as we know, this has always been on the fucking. This shit's been going out of whack since, I guess, kind of WandaVision in a way.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
This whole thing's been pushing towards this chaotic event of whatever spiritual, existential, multiversal proportions ever since the WandaVision wrapped up. And I'm kind of digging where it's going. I mean, because again, the big question after the Infinity Saga was over is what's next. Obviously, they're going to make more MCU films, but Thanos has been dealt with. Everybody's brought back. What next? And it was kind of mentioned and theorized that rather than having another bad guy like Galactus that spans.
Still going to be Galactus.
So do I. That spans the entirety of like 3 phases. That they might kind of shrink it down a little bit and make like each phase like a different bad guy that you have to deal with, and then it's like you have these standalone movies that build up to the next big, mashup Avengers movie where they fight this big threat and then defeat it, and then it's on to the next phase where it's this next big threat. It builds up and they defeat it when they get together again. That's the talk, and I kind of like that idea. But because it's going to be, I mean, honestly, how do you top the Infinity Saga? I mean, I don't think Marvel even wants to try to go that big again, at least not right now.
Nah.
But that's my guess. But the other thing I did notice about the trailer, and Cora's in chat, so Cora. But if for those of you who are wondering, Cora's just taking the night off. She's very, very tired. She's got this new job, but she is in the chat, so she's going to be giving her 2 cents in the chat as well. So we're glad we still have Cora.
You're all lucky. I almost did too. Right when she said it, and I was like, damn it, whatever. I didn't want to just make you be here by yourself or we not do something. Like I'm okay. I'm used to getting fucked by my job. It's fine. I'm good.
Yeah, we're used to it. But the other thing, and I'm not at all surprised because I'm not at all sure how they're going to put all these things together. But there is no mention of Venom or Morbius in this trailer. I'm not surprised. Because I think that if you're going to try to put Venom and Morbius together with Spider-Man, which I think is going to happen at some point, that you probably don't make that move now in the first trailer. I think if they try to combine these 2 things, or 3 things as it were, that you're probably going to end up doing it in a post-credit scene, Because as it stands right now, the deal between Sony and Disney Marvel to use Spider-Man in the MCU, this is the last standalone Spider-Man movie that's covered under that deal. And what they have now is, after this movie is out, they have 2 more appearances by Spider-Man in other MCU properties, and that's it. Technically speaking, Sony can take their Spider-Man and go home. And I think that's kind of where it's going. And even Awani says in the chat, there's a theory this is Sony's way of removing Spider-Man from the MCU. I don't think they needed a way. They could just say, I'm leaving, and then walk. I mean, they almost did that a couple of years ago. I mean, I did some videos about that. But he says, cast a spell and everybody forgets him, even the Avengers. I don't know. Because he's still going to exist in the same universe. So it's kind of hard to think that there's this little guy in the Iron Spider suit going around and tearing shit up and fighting bad guys and fighting Morbius and Venom and probably Carnage at some point, for all we know.
That's what I was wondering. What about Carnage?
And that somebody like Nick Fury isn't going to take notice and find his way back there anyway. But whatever, I don't know. But Cora came into the chat a little late. There was a little bit of action in the beginning there, but yeah, he got taken care of. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, the trailer, and again, I mean, my nerd boner was raging already, and then when Alfred Molina pops up out of that smoke, and he just says, "Hello, Peter," my nerd boner pretty much exploded all over the place. It was. Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie. It still just kind of gives me chills. He just stands there like not even just that little shit-eating grin's like, "Hello, Peter." I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I just want to see the next moment when I don't know if they're just gonna clash or what.
Yeah, my overall thoughts is that this was not a great trailer. It was really damn good, and I think it really did live up to the hype. I know some people on the internet were kind of shitting on it. They were like, "Oh, I wanted more for all the hype." I'm like, you know what? That's
why you go to the movie.
As first trailers go, this is pretty damn good, and I can't really get mad about it because it gave us. It didn't give us everything, but it gave us a lot. It didn't give us everything that the trailers are going to give us leading up to the release of the film, but it does give us a lot.
You know what it oh, go ahead.
No, I'm saying it shows us where Peter is after that big event of him being outed by Mysterio at the end of the last movie. It gives us a little bit of an emotional edge because he's obviously worried about MJ, he's worried about Aunt May, things like that. It builds, obviously it gives us Doctor Strange, who's going to become, I guess, his new mentor. I'm not really fond of, I don't know, I guess having a mentor makes sense because this is one of the younger versions of Spider-Man that we've gotten in live action. Probably the youngest. The cartoons have obviously shown him in a little bit younger versions, but maybe he does still kind of need a mentor to help him fully mature into being a badass superhero. But again, whatever. That's kind of what Tony Stark was doing, and now there's no more Tony Stark. Spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen Endgame. For the one of you who haven't seen Endgame on this planet. But, right. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with him having the mentor. I just don't want this to be like a Doctor Strange movie, with special guest Spider-Man. I really want this to be centered around him, and it kind of looks like for the most part, it's going to be. The trailer crashed the 24-hour record that was held by Endgame. I believe that. I think I went about, what was it? The trailer came out about 9:45, I think. Something like that. I forget exactly what time. By the time I got home at midnight, it was already at something like 13 or 14 million views. It's like, and I personally had sat at work and watched it about 4 or 5 times. So... yeah, I'm not at all surprised. And this was a huge trailer. I mean, and also in a way, this is us going full bore back into a big theatrical release, probably the biggest one since theaters started to reopen after the pandemic. So, I mean, yeah, this is going to be one of the bigger things. I mean, there's plenty coming out between now and then, but I mean, this is going to be the big, huge one. So, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's nice to know that we're getting back in the theater. But, that's good.
The thing I was going to say earlier. I missed a letter. Damn it. When you said, to me, it just sounds like the classic, oh, where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Where's the trailer? Everyone was fucking bitching about it. There's no trailer. And now the guy, they're like, fuck you. It wasn't what I wanted. I wanted more. I wanted this. I'm like, okay, you're never going to be satisfied. But also, I'm like, was that not, I mean, like you said, did your fucking nerd boner not explode the fuck all over the room? When you saw Doc Ock coming out there, and I saw a meme that was it shows that moment where he just says hello Peter, and it's like all the old Tobey Maguire fans that had Thor where he saw Hulk, he's like yes, and then the bottom it says newer MCU fans, it's Loki, and he's like I had no idea who this man is. I'm like, yeah, were you even born when that movie came out, you fucking fetus? Fuck out of my movie theater. God damn it.
Awandi's making a bold prediction. This could be the first movie to make $1 billion in the box office post-pandemic. Ooh, I don't know.
I'll take you on that one. I don't think so.
I think it's going to be the first movie that gets. It's going to be the movie that gets the closest. $1 billion's still asking a lot. I'm still holding firm to the opinion that it's going to be a while, probably a year or more, for people to really feel more and more comfortable going back to the theater.
And this also isn't going to be on the Disney Plus as well, right? Not like the whole.
No.
So this will just be straight up box office numbers, but like you said, it may not be. I mean, if this pandemic, Doctor Strange, can you make the pandemic never happen, and then we can have like numbers where Endgame numbers where people are just flocking to the fucking theater to go see it,
Yeah, no doubt. But
I don't know.
Yeah, $1 billion. I could see it hitting like the $600 million mark. I mean, if things continue to improve and we're not like 8 or 12 variants into the whole COVID thing, I could see the numbers definitely creeping back up. But I think, honestly, I got to take the under on that $1 billion. I'm thinking, don't get me wrong, Awandi, I believe it could. I wouldn't be entirely surprised.
I mean, you are pulling in all the old fans too, so I'm like, this is a big audience you're about to reach.
But I've got to imagine that we're probably looking at something more like, I don't know, I want to say, I'm really thinking that probably 650 million is probably the ceiling for this thing. Hopefully by the time December rolls around, we're still doing well as far as vaccinations and infection rates and yada yada yada. All those numbers look better and people are more comfortable. And to top it off, it's coming out in the middle of right smack dab in the middle of the Christmas season, which is usually pretty big for movies like this anyway. Everybody's out spending money already. Why not go stop at the local movie theater that's near the mall when you're out doing your Christmas shopping and go check out Spider-Man real quick while you're out? I believe it. He said Fast 9 made $696 million. Yeah, but most of that was in China.
Wait, what movie?
Fast 9.
Fuck your Fast and Furious.
$696 million.
I'm
willing to bet $600 million that was from China. Yeah, fuck what you're talking about.
China.
But yeah, and it's not going to be on Disney Plus. I think 650 is probably good, but and you also got to think like Fast 9 again was another one of the first big releases that came out. And that movie bombed. I mean, it was just, not financially, just like everybody hated it. Even people who liked the Fast and Furious franchise did not like that movie. They just thought it was terrible.
I didn't know they had, I think it's the first, no wait, I guess 3, so to speak. I think it has Tokyo Drift. Like HBO Max has 1, 2, and I think Tokyo Drift. But they don't have the rest of them on there. And I for a second thought, all right, that's actually the only ones I watched because I liked them too. I actually liked them when I first started out. I watched them, I think I was in like high school, a little after they came out, and then I just kind of thought, this is nope. And I don't regret that, and I was not wrong. But then I thought I'll give it a chance, and they're not all on there just for a spoiler for anybody. So I'm kind of like, I don't care. I'll relive the first couple ones and reminisce about how I actually kind of like these when they were kind of about the cars and the racing and all that cool bullshit. Not about trying to do whatever the fuck they're doing now. I don't even know what we're doing now anymore with this.
Yeah, but that's the breakdown of everything that I saw in the new trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home. You guys can go down in the comments, let us know what you guys think. Again, a really, really good trailer. I think the next one's going to be even better. I don't think we're going to get any confirmation of either Maguire or Garfield being in this movie until the very end of the last trailer. If at all, I really would rather them leave it out. And there's a lot of big references in this trailer as to what could be coming for Spider-Man in the future. So go down in the comments below, let us know what you guys think. Now, if we're being perfectly honest, there was a whole lot of trailers that actually came out this weekend. Let's see. Spider-Man was just one of the many that dropped at CinemaCon this week. MGM, Warner Brothers, and several other production companies will spend the week giving the theater owners a taste of what's coming in the next year. Jeremy, you've had a chance to watch some of the trailers that have been coming out. What are some of your favorites, some of the ones that interest you the most?
I think I'm going to open that list because I totally remember all of them. I know there were... Hello, that's very bright. But Yeah, I got the stream running up there, and that's part of the shit. Scared me. There we go. I know a couple of them interest me. That is really small. Definitely Cry Macho, because I mean, you know, Clint Eastwood's like 267 years old, so he's out here kicking. He's always a fucking badass. You can't go wrong. Many Saints of Newark looks kind of cool, but I'm like, I never actually watched The Sopranos, so because I was kind of, I mean, I think I was kind of young when it was going, and then it stopped, and I just kind of never really got to get into it. So I don't know. It's all on HBO as well, so maybe I could binge the show maybe, or maybe see this kind of in alphabetical order. Wow, I'm stupid. Chronological order, and maybe it'll be kind of cool. Dune, that's a remake. That looks kind of cool. King Richard looked really interesting. I didn't know. I hadn't seen that one yet. It's Serena and Venus Williams. That's kind of sweet. I would definitely say I mean, most of them look cool, but I'm gonna definitely, you know me, right around the fucking corner. It's gonna be spooky season, my guys, and that Halloween Kills also gives me a fucking boner. Absolutely. I get so much. I even watched again. I've watched that trailer just as many times, and I watched it again, and I'm still. And then this is the only time I sat here and thought, Michael Myers is how old? I don't fucking care. I still want to see him just beat people's fucking heads in and stab them to death and shit. I'm like, I don't care. It's just fun. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I'm actually really disappointed that some of the trailers that they showed at CinemaCon have not yet been released publicly. Because there's a couple of the movies that I've been hearing about for a long time that they showed footage of, and even flat out showed the first trailers for that just didn't release. One of them really
Matrix.
Yes, I was going to talk about that in just a second.
Yes.
One of them is this movie called Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone, and it takes kind of an interesting look at the superhero thing. He is a superhero who was a superhero 20 years ago, but after something happened in an event, he just fell off the face of the planet, disappeared, and nobody had heard from him. And he gets recognized by this little kid as he's just working as a garbage man. So and through whatever happens in the movie, again, there's still not a whole lot that's known about the film yet. He ends up kind of hooking up with this kid, and this kid decides to either train him to fight or somehow pulls Sylvester Stallone out of his shell and gets him to help with some kind of a situation that's happening. I don't know. But from what I've heard, it's not really like a straight-up superhero flick, like he's got to, defend the world from aliens or anything. It's really a much more personal, grounded story. And I'm interested to see that, because we've seen all these superhero flicks where they're just out there fighting whatever. They're fighting other supervillains and tearing up buildings and stuff like that. But taking a more personal look about how age affects a superhero, it sounds to me like it's going to be a bit more along the lines of Logan. And I really like that, because Logan had its action, but at the same time, it was very much this visual of this superhero getting to the end. And so that's what I'm interested about that. You mentioned already the Many Saints of Newark. I watched a lot of The Sopranos, not all, but I kind of missed a couple of the seasons in the middle. But I did watch the last couple seasons. I've always been really into like the mobster stuff, things like that. So that looks really, really good. I actually thought at first they were releasing that as like a limited series. But either they changed their minds or I heard them wrong. They just made it a movie. Bottom line is I'm going to go see it. You mentioned King Richard. And what's going on? Seth Negan threw some money at us. Seth Negan! You beautiful man, you! Thank you so much for supporting us at that level. That is fantastic. Just wanted to show some support for the channel, so here we go. Sith, man, you are the bomb, dude. Thank you very much for that. But, yeah, I mean, Sith Negan, I mean, one of these days you got to come on with us. I mean, I'd like to get a couple of the people that are in the chat all the time, like JCS Foot and Rub, stuff like that, really. I want to get really mysterious on here so we can have some fun just talking about some crazy shit. But, yeah, thank you very much for supporting the channel at that level, man. We really appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
But, the King Richard thing, I have a feeling it's going to be a bit of a puff piece. Because I've heard. I don't know. I've never known the guy personally. I know what I've heard, what I've read, but I have a feeling it's going to be more of an inspirational thing, which doesn't bother me because I don't really care about being inspirational to, showing the story about how kids can come from poverty in Compton and actually be extremely successful. I think we need to make movies showing that kind of thing is possible, so that more kids get the idea that whatever their situation may be, they can go up there, they can get out there, work really hard, achieve great things. So I'm all for it. You mentioned Halloween Kills.
Yes.
Dude, I'm really into this. I mean, just the first like 30 seconds of that trailer where she's seeing, and again, thank you, Seth Negan. You're the man, dude. We really appreciate you supporting the channel like that.
Yes.
But like that first 30 seconds of like they're riding away in the back of the truck immediately after the last movie ends, and the fire department's going their way, and they're just screaming "No!" and she just screams "Let it burn!" and I was like, Jesus, that is visceral. That is some hatred and some angst, dude. That was intense. And then of course the trailer plays out, and it gets to the point that I love where the final girl in the horror movies get to, where she's like, screw it, one of us is going down, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make sure it's you. For one, Jamie Lee Curtis has always been a bit of a badass. I mean, even in like the chick flicks and stuff that she's been in, she has always been a very intimidating presence on screen. It's like, I wouldn't want to mess with her. At all.
No.
But
if your brother was Michael Myers, you wouldn't either.
Yeah, but I love that scene towards the end of the trailer where she's like walking through all these people with a knife, and she's got this stern look on her face, and no one seems to notice that she's there, which is mind-boggling to me. They're all walking one way, and she's just walking against the flow of people, and she's got this knife in her hand, just going to the final battle. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm 100% sold on this. Because I mean, like so many of the horror franchises of that era, they got sequeled out. They just, once you get to the 8th, 9th, 10th movie, you're really, I mean, you're just coming dust at that point, guys. You got to come up with a better story. You got to come up with something new, or
that's so serious.
Or just, yeah, sorry, Vin Diesel. But
family.
I mean, let it end. Let some time pass and reboot it. New cast,
let it burn.
Stories. Let it burn. But yeah, it's so I'm kind of wondering if I want this to be the end, or depending on how the movie goes, if I want just one more, because I really liked that last Halloween movie, which served as a direct sequel to the original in the 70s.
Yeah,
I actually thought that was really, really well done, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be pretty close to that. The other trailer that I watched that I actually really liked was called the 355. Did you get a chance to watch this one? It's made by the same people that made the Bourne movies, and I really like the Bourne movies.
Yeah, I was like, this basically. At first, well, of course, I had to make the joke, the meme. They said from the people who made Jason Bourne, like, Jesus Christ, Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
I saw it, then I'm like, so what is this? Fucking Charlie's Angels? Or what is this shit? And then I was like, oh wait, I know what this is. Now I saw more of them, and I'm like, oh, this is the Fox Force 5 movie that we were talking about back in Pulp Fiction. All right, I'm here for it. Yeah, you had all the bases covered. I mean, these fucking ladies look pretty fucking badass. I would also not want to fuck with them because they could probably kick my ass too. It didn't really give anything away, I guess, unless there's something I didn't catch. I was just kind of, that's the first time I've seen that one because I hadn't heard of that movie. But I mean, it looks like a fun little fucking well, I don't want to say shoot 'em up, but a little action spy thriller romp. So
yeah, the couple.
It's far better than the female led Ghostbusters. So whatever.
Yeah, a couple of the other things that came out.
That's what I said.
What was the one that I wanted to, I know Cora's probably still on the chat, or at least listening, so here's some good news for Cora. They did not release a full trailer, but they did release some footage for the new Downton Abbey movie, which me and Cora, we're tea-timers, we like the Downton Abbey. Even though the movie did get pushed back from the Christmas season to like March, they did release some footage. It also has a full title now. It's called Downton Abbey: The New Era. I'm not going to go into too many of my thoughts because I'm reading a lot into that title. I won't go into too much of that stuff until me and Cora can talk about it. But I think I might know what that means too, but I don't want to jump in that pool yet. Maybe we can get that a little sidebar conversation next week, because I have a feeling as to some things that might be happening in that movie. But I mean, and if you've seen the last movie, you kind of that conversation that Professor McGonagall has with Mary at the end of the movie. I always call
that's what I'm saying. I do too. I can't.
It's pretty telling, but I don't know if it's that telling. Anyway, we can talk about that when Cora's on here to talk about it with us, because I think that's going to be
I did see the last movie, but I have never actually watched the show. That's my mom's bag. She loves that show. She's watched it, and she watched the movie. I went to go with her, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what's going on. I mean, but I watched the movie, so I was like, okay. I kind of get the gist.
Yeah, it feeds my weird fascination with British aristocracy and how it all works. But the other thing, I don't know if we talked about it yet, was The Matrix. It actually They released the full trailer there, but it hasn't dropped online yet. There is some, at least not since I looked. I looked a couple hours before we went live, and I hadn't found it yet. So a lot of the stuff that Paramount put out,
they had to be
put out a lot of
there.
new trailers. It's like they didn't put out a new trailer to Top Gun, which was kind of surprising. I thought they would put out something fresh, because the first Top Gun trailer came out like 30 years ago. So,
Yeah.
And then of course it got pushed back because Tom Cruise is very anal about how he makes movies, and then pandemic gets pushed back more. So I mean, the first trailer for Top Gun Maverick came out like a year and a half ago. So I thought they would try to release a fresher trailer, maybe with a bit more footage. They did release some footage, but again, it wasn't in trailer form. They did, however, release some footage of Val Kilmer. And I've been hearing that it's been widely reported that he's in the movie. He is playing his old character, but given his health complications that he's had over the last several years, was wondering how that would be handled. And also, a little side note, for those of you who have not seen the documentary Val about Val Kilmer on Amazon Prime, it is a fucking great watch. As it turns out, he was vlogging before vlogging was even a thing. Like his entire career, like his entire life, going back to when he was like 11, 12 years old, he was making on video cameras short little movies with his brothers, reenacting scenes from their favorite movies and plays and writing their own skits. And this whole time, his whole life, he had just had a video camera on set of Tombstone, Top Gun, Top Secret, I mean, Real Genius, all these movies that are so Heat. He had a video camera on the set of all these movies, and he was vlogging before anybody knew what the fuck vlogging was.
Probably even Batman too.
And Batman too. He talks about all his big movies all through this documentary, and it's done.
Awesome.
And his son, who sounds just like him, actually narrates this in Val Kilmer's voice.
Nice.
He's reading Val Kilmer's words, and it sounds just like Val Kilmer when he was, before he had all his health stuff. But it is a fantastic documentary. But yeah, so go check that out. But I forgot what the hell I was even talking about. It was The Matrix, I think.
Matrix.
Top Gun. But they released some footage for Top Gun, but no new trailer. But The Matrix now does have a full name, even though the trailer has not been put out yet, and it's called The Matrix Resurrections. So that is the full name of it all. There is some footage, behind the scenes stuff online. You can go look at it if you want. I don't think it's anything special. They're not going to release any of the really juicy stuff online. It's obviously stuff they get out. But yeah, I'm really interested in seeing how that works, because apparently the footage they showed of the Matrix shows Neo in being Mr. Anderson again. He's been assimilated back in the Matrix. He's living his life. He's doing whatever, and he actually runs into Trinity at a coffee shop. Just kind of like bumps into her, and they apparently don't know each other. But they do have that look back, like, you look kind of familiar to me, and then that's probably where the whole plot of the
in a past life.
Yeah, in a past life when you were fighting, Sentinels and shit like that. But yeah, I'm super interested in this because it's the Wachowski siblings coming back to do it. It's their property, so they know how to handle it and give it the proper response. My one knock on it is that he looks like John Wick in the movie from what I'm saying. So
I know.
It's like, why not give him a decent haircut and make him look kind of professional? What, do you have to make him look like John Wick to try to draw some of that John Wick juice? You know what I mean? Can't you? You got plenty of Matrix juice to draw off of anyway. Do you really need to make him look like John Wick?
Well, this might be another a reset. This might be another Matrix, because at the end of the third one, remember they said they kind of redid everything and reset it to another. This would now be the 7th Matrix they've made version of it.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, he might just look like that in this. I don't know. Also, he was, speaking of that, I mean, I don't know if there's anything on John Wick 4, because also those were supposed to come out the same day. Maybe that's kind of a hard thing to, you're trying to do both of these movies. And if we know anything about the first movie, I mean, shit, you always had to do things separate, because he had to have the shaved head when he first came out. And then when he's in the Matrix, he's got his little nice, parted comb over or whatever. So you had to, film that differently. But trying to do John Wick, who has a specific look, and then trying to do the Matrix, which hopefully we're not trying to bounce back and forth on that kind of shit again with the hairstyles. It may have just been too much. I don't know.
Yeah, so many guys in the chat, Awandi says John Wick is greater than the Matrix, if you ask me. Overall, yes, I do. I agree with you, but I still think the Matrix, despite the fact that the two movies kind of went off the rails a little bit, especially the last one, I think it's still a very watchable series. Let's see. Wandi also says, if you want TV shows, you come to me. Yeah, I want to know some TV shows. Sith Negan says, Matrix 4 without Morpheus and Agent Smith equals a pass for me. Well, yeah, not.
Yeah, I saw
Smith
that.
Sucks. Now, technically speaking, we do have Morpheus. We just don't have Lawrence Fishburne playing Morpheus. Morpheus. We're getting a younger version of him. And apparently this younger version is shown in whatever footage that they showed at CinemaCon a couple of days ago.
Yeah, they said they added 2 other people, and I think I saw that guy. I was like, that would be the other person who they added, who I assumed was Morpheus or someone related to him. And then someone else, I don't remember who the fuck it was. And then they also say that, what's her name? Jada Pinkett Smith was coming back?
Yeah.
So, hey, you got Niobe. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. But, yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked about a lot of these trailers. Like I said, I'm really interested in Samaritan. The King Ranger looks interesting. The Halloween Kills, I'm loving it. That trailer has a killer feel to it. And
I see what you did there.
Yeah, killer feel. And you know, there's a lot of other stuff that shows that they showed some footage there. They did show, I guess, a trailer or some footage for this new Brad Pitt movie, Bullet Train, which I've heard it looks interesting. They did show, and you know, this will satisfy the video game part of your brain. They did show the first footage of the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland. And
Tom Holland.
TSS, what's going on, buddy? Glad you could join us. But they also showed more footage. Sony did. They showed more footage of Morbius and Venom. So that's stuff that they probably aren't going to release it for at least another few weeks. They did, and Corey, here's another one for you because I know you're very much interested in seeing James Bond. They showed a 9-minute action scene, MGM did, of James Bond No Time to Die, and that apparently floored everyone. That just blew everyone.
I definitely want to see that. That movie looks wild.
There's another movie called Dog with Channing Tatum that came out, and a lot of people were talking about that because it deals with PTSD from a dog's point of view. From what I've heard about it, hearing other people talk about it, Channing Tatum was an Army Ranger in the movie, and his friend, who was one of the canine experts in the military, was killed, and this dog is apparently having PTSD, so he gets assigned this dog.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes. His friend, and it's about helping the dog deal with the PTSD. Now, I don't really know. I'm interested enough to give it a go, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, what about the other one-word animal named movie, Pig, with Nicolas Cage? What about that weird trippy ass?
Nicolas Cage does trippy shit though, so I'm not entirely certain.
I know. I even with that in mind was still like, what the fuck is this? What?
Yeah.
What are you doing, Nick? I think I said that in the theater. I'm like, what are you doing, Nick? I'll watch it because it's you, but what the fuck?
Yeah. Also, they did show some footage of this other movie called On the Count of Three, which I don't know. I don't know how to take how this movie's been described. Basically, these two guys have decided to kill themselves.
Yeah, well,
but it's a comedic look at suicide.
That's touchy. That's the touchy.
I don't know. I don't know I don't know how you can take a comedic look at suicide.
You'd have to be very careful.
This movie could kick ass. But
it could also go very wrong.
But it could also go very, very wrong. Sith Negan says, is there any new info on the Walking Dead Rick Grimes movie? Actually, CinemaCon is not the place for stuff that is still very far out. CinemaCon it's not like it's not like Comic-Con or one of these other conventions. CinemaCon is specifically for theater owners. It's not generally for fans. Some fans will go, but it's generally for theater owners. So the movies that they display at CinemaCon are all movies that are probably going to come out in the next 6 to 8 months. Stuff that is more than a year away, you're not really going to hear a lot of it at CinemaCon. About it at CinemaCon. No, you're going to get that stuff at the convention, specifically Comic-Con.
Yeah, I mean, also, it's not like we just started season 11 last Sunday, and I did not know that we're going to do this now. I thought it was ridiculous when we started splitting movies into 2 parts. And now they dropped this. We're like, not that I'm really complaining. I know it sounds like I am. But when they finally showed the trailer, they're like, all right, this starts up August, whatever the hell it was last week. Then they're like, parts 2 and 3, 2022. I was like, excuse me, what? Huh?
Yeah.
What? This is how long we're doing this?
Yeah.
You guys could have just made I'm like, guys, you could just make a 12 and 13th season. You don't have to. Holy Christ. God damn.
Well, I mean,
I'm not mad, but I'm like, then the movies are going to come out, so trust me, we're not even close.
Well, they're doing it with Stranger Things, too. This next season of Stranger Things is supposed to be the last season, and it's supposed to end on some kind of a cliffhanger that is going to be resolved in a featured movie that they're going to be putting out that ends the entire series. So, I mean, whatever. I don't know. But
we're at the end here, too. Yeah. We're in the end game for Walking Dead as well. I'm excited.
They also had some more footage for the House of Gucci. I don't know if you've seen this trailer, but it actually looks really good. I think that's going to be MGM's Oscar bait movie, because that movie actually looks really good, and a whole lot of movies too.
Well, yeah, and also the whole thing behind the real story and shit. And I'm like, this seems like one of those, not, I guess, period piece in a kind of weird way. I can't believe I'm saying something about, like, that looks like it's in the fucking set in the 70s or something, where I'm like, it's a period piece now. That probably hurts to hear, but... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it seems like one of those. Look, I'm not gonna. It's Adam Driver, Lady Gaga, Al Pacino, Jared Leto. You got some big fucking names in there, man. So.
Oh yeah, I have a feeling that's their award movie. That's the ones they're gonna try to show the Oscar people for an award. But real quick to finish up MGM, they had the Samaritan movie with Sylvester Stallone. They have this movie coming out with Peter Dinklage called Cyrano. Jeremy, are you familiar with the story of Cyrano de Bergerac? I know I pronounced the last name wrong.
I was gonna say, was that fucking English? No, even if it was, I have no idea what that is. What?
It's a Shakespearean kind of movie or kind of story where this guy. Did you ever see the movie Roxanne from the '80s with Steve Martin, where he's got the really obscenely long nose that sticks out like 5 inches from his face?
Oh, I know that. I've seen that like image, but no, I did not know that's what that was.
That movie was kind of a modern comedic telling of the story. Basically, Cyrano de Bergerac has a long nose. And he's in love with this chick, and the chick is in love with his friend. So he tells his friend, okay, but apparently his friend is dumb and doesn't know how to speak. So he tells his friend, I'm going to be in the bushes whispering what to say to her, and you say it to her, and she'll fall in love with you because of my words. And then, of course, whatever happens. But Peter Dinklage is going to be playing the Cyrano de Bergerac character in this movie Cyrano, which I think sounds really, really interesting. So he's going to be the little short guy who can't get the regular-sized lady to fall in love with him, something like that. But
the constant struggle.
That sounds pretty interesting. And it's Peter Dinklage. Come on. And on top of that, it's kind of a story that has lasted through time. It's had many iterations in television and film before, and it's always done well. And it's got Peter Dinklage. Come on, Peter Dinklage is the star. As far as a real quick going over of some of Warner Brothers stuff, there was no talk of Flash or Black Adam. No footage. Not really much of a mention. Again, mainly because CinemaCon is for movies that are pretty much done or close to done, not for movies that are still like in pre-production or very early in principal photography. So not really a surprise.
Also WB, I thought there was, but it was basically the same thing I'd already seen. There was no extra thing for the Batman. Robert Pattinson. Nothing new that I could find. So
from what I heard, they had played some footage. But like 80% of it was footage that we had already seen, either released.
That's what I mean.
The trailer, and the very little of it was new, and even the stuff that was new was not significant. So
no, I didn't. So it didn't. Whatever I saw that was like from a week ago, I was like, yeah, but I don't think this is anything that we haven't already seen. I think Rachel asked me like, who's the bad guy in this one? I'm like, I have no fucking idea, man. I honestly couldn't. I thought I saw Catwoman in there for a second. I was like, okay, she could be one. Maybe it's the Riddler. Or some, I don't know. Those guys with the little weird makeup almost look kind of Joker-ish. I don't know. And then, of course, you always ask the question, like, is this the Batman that kills him? Like, he did beat the living fuck out of that guy's face. And then continue to do it. And I'm like, yeah, he might be a really, I mean, that's ironically to say, this is a really dark Batman, but shit.
Also, they came out with a little bit of new footage for the movie Dune, but that movie is going to be coming out here soon anyway, and from what I heard, it wasn't any more significant footage. Universal, even though they didn't have a lot of big things come out, they did have probably the most stuff. They had the Halloween Kills trailer. They had this trailer for a movie called Dear Evan Hansen. It looks like it's a bit of a romantic thing, emotional thing, but again, it's one of those things that kind of romanticizes suicide, and I don't know that I'm all about that.
It seems like one of the, this is exactly, I'll quote myself here from a few hours ago. I'm like, this seems like one of those movies that's gonna like just kick my emotions in the fucking face and then stomp its ass. And, like, that little clip I just mentioned about Robert Pattinson's Batman beating the fuck out of that guy's face, that's exactly what it's gonna do. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to have that much emotion. It looks like, I mean, I'd probably watch it, but I'm just like, man, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for all that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then they also came out with a trailer, with some footage rather, for a movie called Belfast by Kenneth Branagh, and it's about some of the Irish Republican Army stuff going on in the 70s. That sounded real. For one, it's Kenneth Branagh. That guy can make a fucking movie. I mean, he is damn good, and that looked really.
And also,
yeah.
Also that period of time, I was like, you want to talk about that shit from the 70s? Like you said with the in Ireland. I mean.
Oh yeah, so many really interesting stories came out of that era in
Yeah.
Ireland. Also, if you need to get your Viking fix, there's a movie called The Northman that dropped a trailer that I have not yet found online yet, but it's got some badass Viking sword and shield shit that the footage they say was awesome. So I've been looking for that trailer. I found something online about the movie. It was just kind of like some behind the scenes footage. It wasn't all that great, but yeah, it looked it sounded really really interesting. They also had the trailer for Last Night in Soho, which is kind of a murder mystery kind of thing. I thought that was very interesting to me.
And that's also Edgar Wright. I mean, you can't go fucking wrong with him, man.
Right.
As soon as you said Edgar Wright, then I mean, I was like, stop! I can only get so wrecked. And then I mean, I saw Matt Smith. I'm like, you got Doctor Who? All right,
yeah,
I'm here for it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really digging it. Also, what was the one thing I wanted to mention? Oh, they had some new footage for Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, did they?
The new Jurassic World is coming out. They said the footage was pretty cool, and in part of the footage, you could see some dinosaurs running in the frame, and somewhere in the dinosaurs was what's his name, Star-Lord, was his character kind of like riding,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, apparently riding a dinosaur, and I'm like, that's awesome. I'm sold. I'll buy my ticket right now. I'm game. Let's do it.
If he rides one of the Raptors, I will lose my mind.
That's what a lot of people are saying. Like, if he's riding Blue, I will be the happiest person in the fight.
Oh, God, yes.
I will be the happiest person.
You my boy, Blue!
You're a boy, Blue. But, yeah, CinemaCon, I think, officially wraps up tomorrow. I don't know that there are too many more presentations, that are going to drop anything significant, but I am kind of keeping track of it. But ultimately, I think that's pretty much it from CinemaCon. Again, a whole lot of trailers, a whole lot of footage of stuff that's coming out pretty damn soon, sometime in the next 6 to 8 months. So if you get a chance, go to CinemaCon's website. They have some stuff online at the CinemaCon website, not a lot, but most of it you could probably go ahead and find it online, YouTube somewhere. Most of the stuff's already been out. Again, some of the trailers they showed are trailers that have been out for a while, but again, they're still good to watch. But moving on now, let's see. What If dropped its third or fourth episode now? It is episode 3. Episode 3 of Disney Plus on yesterday. This one showed how the MCU could have been drastically altered if a serial killer murdered the Avengers before Nick Fury could even assemble them. Jeremy, the identity of the killer was quite a bit of a surprise. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, once they showed it, and I was kind of like, okay, that makes sense. But it's. I mean, this is the whole idea of the series. Like one little fucking thing, one small thing is it's a whole different branch of fucking reality. It's. I was at work and I was yesterday I was gonna watch it later, and just from the description of it, I was kind of like, ooh, first of all, this sounds really cool. You're gonna have a fucking serial killer going out trying to kill the Avengers, and then I thought, wait, how are you gonna kill the Avengers? Wait a fucking second. You're gonna try and kill the Hulk. You're gonna kill Thor. It's like Hawkeye and Widow and maybe even Tony Stark. I'm like, I can understand they're human. I mean, Tony Stark's got his technology. And then I started thinking, like, wait. What about Captain Marvel? What about Cap? What about fucking... I start going through everybody. I'm like, wait a minute. How? And then when you revealed it, I was like, oh. I'll shut up. Okay. Interesting. Got me.
Yeah, there is a precedence for this in the comic books. For those of you who don't know what I mean when I say this, the identity of the serial killer was a surprise. It was Hank Pym, And for those of you, and I'm sorry, again, we talk spoilers openly on this channel. I mean, I usually warn you guys a lot, but I mean, if you're in the know on the comic book stuff, Hank Pym does have a period where he kind of goes off the deep end. There's some alcoholism. This is all comic book stuff, by the way. This isn't anything that's happened in the MCU on camera. But in the comic books, he has some alcoholism problems. He beats his wife. He gets into some trouble. I mean, he has a really dark period in the comic books where he kind of loses his shit. And that's why a lot of people have said that there may come a point in the Ant-Man movies particularly where he becomes a villain. And it's Hank Pym versus Scott Lang. I don't think they're going to go that route in the movie. I think it's a bit too dark for the MCU. But they do touch on that in this situation. Now, one of the things that upsets him is the fact that his daughter Janet has been killed. Or Hope, rather. Hope has been killed.
Oh.
His daughter Hope. And you come to find out at the end of the episode that was his whole motivation behind killing the Avengers. He's really after S.H.I.E.L.D. as a whole because he blames them for Hope's death. And then, but I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you see all these scenes that we've seen already in live action, like the whole scene at the diner with Nick Fury and Tony Stark, and Black Widow comes in from the side and just kind of injects him with that whatever it is to make him feel better. And then, but in this scene, in this animated stuff, he ends up dying right there on the floor of the diner. And then they kill Thor, they kill Hawkeye, they kill Black Widow eventually, they kill Hulk. And it just going through this thing about how easy it was for this guy to kill all these Avengers. It was.
That's what I was like, who?
Yeah, and I was like, who the hell just makes Hulk blow up into a fucking green mass of blah, whatever. I mean,
that was
the craziest shit.
That was the internet saying how many goddamn times I want to see Ant-Man go up Thanos' ass and just boom, explode him. I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, you motherfuckers, all right, whatever, do it to the Hulk. That's kind of rude, but all right.
But yeah, it was a very dark episode for What If. I mean, and at the end of the episode, it's like you have Nick Fury walking up and down this empty room that's got the caskets of the Avengers with their little logos on them. It's like Thor had the hammer, and Stark had his little chest piece, and Black Widow had
the Arc Reactor.
And I was like, and it's just these coffins that are covered in their flags. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that is dark. And then, of course, at the very end, it shows that he actually hit the pager a little earlier than he does in the MCU and calls Captain Marvel back down from space. But yeah, it was very, very dark. It was one of the more interesting ones yet.
Yeah, and then like I said, I was wondering about, because when he opened the little glove box and of course saw the pager, I'm like, aha! So Captain Marvel's still out there. That's all right. So she was kind of the start of it too. And then I was like, what about Cap? Is he still in ice, or like what happened? And I mean, I am still slightly confused as to what that ending scene was supposed to be. Speaking of the two of them,
well,
he fucking wipes off that you see the shield, and he's just like, "Oh, welcome back." And then Marvel's like, "All right, where's the fight?" I'm like, "It's just the two of you. What are you gonna what?"
Well, one of the things that I thought, they didn't expressly show it, is exactly who's underneath the ice. Because if it's now. Is it assuming that Peggy Carter from the first episode
That's what I wondered, yeah.
became Captain Britain? So is it her on the ice? Because all it shows is Nick Fury walking in there and wiping the snow off that ice, and you see the shield. It doesn't say who it is. Now,
well, hers had the Union Jack on it, not the star. That's why I was like, okay, so it's still Steve, or we assume.
True.
Yeah.
True, but yeah, so I guess we have to assume Steve. But still, I mean, that's pretty crazy, the way the whole thing played out. Again, a very, very dark episode. I enjoyed it a lot. It's one of my favorites so far. It's been a decent build for this series over the last 3 episodes. Like I said, the first one I wasn't really into. They didn't really change much of anything. They just kind of like gender swapped and then just went through the usual motions. Second episode, obviously, we had the last time we're going to hear the voice of Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. Yes, rest in peace forever. But and I like that. That was a very interesting episode that showed how things can be very, very different. And I actually
ordered that pop figure, so it will be here soon. Yes. I kind of have to have that one.
And this episode, man, it got, like I said, it gets dark. I mean, the Avengers are getting killed. They're targeted.
Can we talk about Loki for a fucking second? Because we kind of have to.
Yeah.
he came down and was, of course, he's trying to still make everyone kneel. But when he went up there, I was kind of like, wait. Is this President Loki? Is this what that is? Because we saw him in Loki. I was like, did he finally get his? Did he get to take over Midgard, I guess? and whatever else. I don't know. At least he was cool while working with Fury, unless maybe he's now going to help Nick Fury and Captain Marvel and whoever, I guess, I assume it's Steve Rogers' Cap. So,
Yeah.
Interesting way to go.
Really, you're giving me way too much credit. I don't think I can take Brock Lesnar. Hopefully I can run faster than him so he can't catch me. But yeah, this series has gotten a lot better, and I'm actually really happy because, like I said, I wasn't really impressed with the first episode, but the second and third they got way better. So yeah, go down the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of episode 3 of What If. It's getting a lot better. Boy, Marvel's really ramping some shit up now. You know that? It's like,
Yeah.
The pandemic was kind of ruining a lot of shit, but Marvel was just coiled up waiting to strike, and they're hitting hard now. Black Widow was just the first shot at some of the stuff they've got coming out. I'm really, really excited for what they've got coming on. Before we move too much farther, though, I do want to remind you guys that we do have a Discord, and I really think it'd be awesome if you guys joined on the Discord and just came to hang out with us. Let me get out of studio mode so I can mess with this a little bit. Now, this is a place where we can go just to keep the movie talk going in between shows. Obviously, we have some spoiler discussion in there for some of the shows like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki, or just some general discussion on stuff coming out, and they're talking about trailers and stuff like that. So go join us on the Discord, and we can just keep the movie talk going all the time. And don't forget also to join our Patreon if you'd like. To support the channel for just $5 a month, we give away $25 in free movie tickets every month, usually the first Thursday of the month, to one lucky Patreon supporter. So for just $5 a month, you can get $25 in free movie tickets. Now, the reason we do this is because I want to support the movie theaters. With things opening back up, we're very happy to get out in the movie theaters and go see these things again. A lot of big movies are starting to come open, so this will give you guys a chance to go see some of those movies for free. But for just $5 a month, you can support the Patreon. Go out there and spend some of this money that we give you guys. It's $25. Just trying to help support the movie theaters, their employees, the kids at the ticket booth, the concession stand, all this stuff. Support them. They have really taken it on the chin. I think one of the numbers that came out from CinemaCon is that something like 80% of the theater employees around the country have been out of work for the last year and a half almost, and a lot of those people have faced a lot of hard times. Let's get out there. Let's go support these people that work at these theaters. That's going to be very important as we start to get things moving going forward. But the next thing that comes out, not the next thing that comes out, the next thing I want to talk about is William Peterson. CSI Vegas star William Peterson was briefly hospitalized on Friday after feeling unwell on the set of the sequel series. Peterson will be stepping back into the role of Gil Grissom alongside some old friends and new. Peterson is now out of the hospital and recovering. Jeremy, I know I don't know if I sent you the article on this, but what are some of your thoughts on William Peterson having to go to the hospital?
Did not know about this, or I did not see an article. So honestly, shit. I guess kind of news to me.
My show notes like I usually do. That's my mistake.
Yeah, I was kind of like lost. I was like, okay, well, trailers and probably what if, so I can at least do that. Yeah, I mean,
well, I'll give you this article that I pulled real quick. It doesn't really say a whole lot. It says that William Peterson was briefly hospitalized on Friday after feeling unwell on the set of the sequel series. Variety confirmed. This is from Variety. A representative for Peterson said the 68-year-old actor was taken to a hospital as a precautionary measure, as he has been exhausted from working long hours on the set of the show for the past 12 weeks. It was first reported by TMZ that Peterson is out of the hospital and is recovering. Representatives for CBS Studios did not immediately respond because they don't have to. It does say that he is reprising his role as Gil Grissom, which is great because that's one of my favorite things I've ever seen him in CSI. It's set to premiere on CBS October 6th. So, not too far away. He's also executive producer on this show, like he was for the original CSI. He is going to be reprising his role along with Georgia Fox as Sarah Seidel. Wallace Langham as David Hodges. Paul Guilfoyle will also guest star on the series, reprising his role as Jim Brass. New characters will include, Paula Newsome, Matt Lauria, Mel Rodriguez, and Mandeep Dilhan, if I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, 68 years old and you're working 12 hours on a movie set? Dude.
Proud to you, man.
Yeah, and this picture is actually from a long time ago. It's from the original, the one you guys can see on the screen. It's actually from the original CSI TV series. So that picture is probably about 20 years old. I saw a recent picture of him when I was pulling up this article, and he's a lot more gray now. He's got as much gray as I do, only he's got more on top of his head than I do. He looks pretty good for a guy he was about to hit 70.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously we hope that he gets healthy again soon. Dude, CSI was a great show. I think it kind of got diluted a little bit when they started coming out with CSI this, CSI that, CSI whatever, CSI this, that, and the third, CSI Sheboygan, Wisconsin, CSI whatever. I think it started to get a little diluted, even though they were all very different shows, and I think there were some episodes of each show that I liked. The original CSI was unmatched. Are you excited at all for this thing to come out, Jeremy?
I haven't really watched CSI in a long goddamn time, to be honest. I think I'm kind of with you. It's like, yeah, it kind of got diluted when every city got its own CSI. But I guess to quote Ron Burgundy, hey, it's true, the market has become quite saturated.
Yeah, once you get to that third or fourth iteration, it was the same thing with, what was it?
NCIS?
No. Yeah, NCIS. That was what I was thinking of. NCIS this, then NCIS New Orleans, NCIS Los Angeles.
New York or something. Or LA, yeah.
Yeah, LA. I was like, come on, do you really have to like have these different variations of the same show? And basically the only thing that's different about them is the setting. It's like, okay, one's in Vegas, one's in Miami, one's in New York. Okay, so they're very different settings, but it's kind of the same...
A different set of actors, but like that's really the only...
Yeah, it's kind of the same procedural shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of was like, I don't know if I really care to see it. But I mean, it'll be nice to go back to Vegas and to go back to the original show. But yeah, we definitely wish William Peterson well. My favorite William Peterson movie is, what was it, Manhunter?
Oh, nice.
It's the very first movie that had Hannibal Lecter in it before Silence of the Lambs.
Nice.
Good movie. You should check that one out if you haven't already.
Actually, that reminded me, this is quick, I can say this real quick. Speaking of people that got injured, I saw this earlier today that, I'm gonna butcher the name, but Letitia Wright, the one who plays Shuri, got temporarily hospitalized when she was filming Wakanda Forever. Just something with one of the stunt rigs on the set, and she had some minor injuries. She's supposed to be released soon, and it's not supposed to affect the release schedule at all, but shit, I mean... You hate to see it. You don't want that happening to people.
Well, we're glad they're minor injuries and nothing is going to keep her, to keep her away from herself for too long. Because I am
also that's nice to know that hey, we're getting Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. Don't delay that movie at all, please.
Please do not.
COVID be damned. I'm in theaters. I want that one in theaters now. I'm really interested to see how they handle all that stuff.
Yes.
But before we start to close things up here, we do have to say. Kind of a very sad goodbye to one of the greatest musicians that has ever lived. Charlie Watts, the Rolling Stones drummer and the band's irreplaceable heartbeat, has died at the age of 80. No cause of death has been given. Watts' publicist confirmed his death in a statement saying, "It is with immense sadness that we announce the death of our beloved Charlie Watts. He passed away peacefully in a London hospital earlier Tuesday, surrounded by his family." The statement referred to Watts as one of the greatest drummers of his generation and closed by requesting that the privacy of his family, band members, and close friends is respected at this difficult time. Jeremy, if you and I have talked about anything more than as much as movies, it's been music. So this story is definitely significant to us. What are some of your thoughts on the passing of Charlie Watts?
I saw it the other day, and I was just... I never want to believe it, and it sucks. I mean, it's the Stones, man. I thought they were going to live forever, but...
That's one of the things that struck me as I first heard this. I was just like, you're in a band with guys like Keith Richards, and look, who snorted his own father's ashes while he was doing drugs. Mick Jagger, Mick Jagger, who his partying ways are. I mean, they're going to make a movie about his partying one day. It's like that's the most significant thing about his life. And of all the things that all these guys in this band did, Charlie Watts was the one straight guy.
Right.
That's the mind body. Now he did have a little bit of a battle with drugs and alcohol and addiction problems in the mid '80s, but for the most part. This guy, he was the squeaky clean guy. He was the one that didn't do all the hard partying that his bandmates did. He kept himself straight. He was faithful to his wife since they got married in 1964. It's so unreal to think that in a band like the Rolling Stones, that this is going to be the first guy to go. It's like...
I know.
It's unreal. It's unreal. Some of the things I was reading about this, about him in this article I pulled up from, ironically, the Rolling Stone, the magazine, was
Right.
Keith Richards did say in 1979, everybody thinks that Mick and Keith are the Rolling Stones. If Charlie wasn't doing what he was doing on drums, that wouldn't be true at all. You'll find out that Charlie Watts is the Stones. And this is coming from his two bandmates. Again, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards are saying this. Because when you think Rolling Stones, you always think, Mick and Keith. And real musicians will, Charlie Watts and a couple other people that have been through the band over the course of the years. But it's like when these guys are out there telling you, no, this guy, as you're looking on the screen, this guy, he's the Stones. It's unreal.
It's like, to me, I guess, more something from my generation. He actually unfortunately passed away at a much younger age, was the Rev from Avenged Sevenfold. It's like, yeah, he's the drummer, but I mean, dude, he was a integral fucking part of that band. I mean, dude could drum like a fucking wizard. I mean, Neil Peart be damned, but I'm just saying, I'd put him up there. Like, and he also wrote some of the songs he would sing, and I'm like, yeah, you obviously think Sinister Gates when you think Avenged Sevenfold, but I'm like, nah, man, you think of the Rev, shit, same thing. Like, that dude was something else. I mean, like you said, same thing with the Stones. I mean, even if your two lead guys are telling you, like, no, it's not even, no, it's this guy.
Yeah, Watts was born
Big deal.
June 2nd, 1941 in London. He was born at the beginning of World War II.
Yeah, in London, not the best place to be.
Yeah, he took up the drums at age 14. He was way more into jazz and stuff than he ever was rock and roll.
Well,
he was actually not the Stones' first drummer. He played his first gig with the band in 1962. I'm sorry, he played his first gig in 1963. The band itself played its first gig in 1962. His first gig with the Stones came on January 12th, 1963 at Ealing Jazz Club, which is a famous place in UK. Let's see, It's All Over Now, their first UK #1 hit, arrived in June of 64. I Can't Get No Satisfaction, driven by Watts' relentless pounding on the drums, hit #1 in the US in May of 1965. One of the funniest stories that I have ever read is something that I read in this article. It says, Jagger once phoned Watts' hotel room in the midst of an all-night party asking, "Where's my drummer?" Watts reportedly got up, shaved, dressed in a suit, put on a tie and freshly shined shoes, descended the stairs, and punched Jagger in the face, saying, "Don't ever call me your drummer again. You're my fucking singer." I was like, whoa! Dude,
God.
That is high-level badassery right there.
That is some baller shit.
Let me read that again for you guys that maybe they need to process that. Jagger
for you in the back row.
Yeah,
you didn't catch that.
Jagger once phoned Watts' hotel room in the midst of an all-night party asking, "Where's my drummer?" Watts reportedly got up, shaved, dressed in a suit, put on a tie, and freshly shined shoes, descended the stairs, and punched Jagger in the face, saying, "Don't ever call me your drummer again. You're my fucking singer." That is absolutely hilarious.
I aspire to be like that. That's amazing.
And who knew? I mean, this guy, look at him. Look at the way that, like, Mick and all those guys dress. And look at that picture right now. I'll put this other one up so you can see it. This guy's got, like, a fucking polo on. He's the straight
right.
Man. And you know what's funny is I remember when I was in my teen years and I was first kind of figuring out my musical taste. The Licks tour was going on, like, in the mid-late 80s, somewhere in that range. And I remember watching music videos on MTV of the Rolling Stones, and it's like you got Mick doing his thing. He's dressed however he's dressed. You've got Keith out there, whatever, headband and hippie-looking clothing. And then I remember, I forget what video it is specifically. I haven't watched any Rolling Stones music videos in a while. But it's like the camera is like it's like up on a boom, and it's kind of coming around, and it's showing Charlie Watts playing drums. And he's sitting there straight up in his seat, just... he already looked like he was 150 years old. This was back in, like, the late 80s. He's just sitting there just drumming like he's just some guy who got called in to do a little bit of a bit part for a video. Like, he's not taking it very seriously. And I'm like, I remember looking around, my friends like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like,
right.
Like, this guy is just sitting there, and he's got on almost like a three-piece suit or a sport jacket or something. I mean, he looks very dapper and very put together. And then you've got, Mick and all these guys out here. And it's like... It's like, really? How does this guy find his way into the Rolling Stones?
I guess I guess you could say he marched to the drum of his own beat of his own drum. I almost fucked that up. My bad.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That's funny.
But yeah, he's had some health problems for a while. He in June of 2004, he was diagnosed with throat cancer, which was treated and went into remission. It's not exact. He did have a small procedure done, and it was already very widely reported that he was not going to be joining the Rolling Stones for a tour of America that they were planning on starting here very soon. So he already wasn't going to be around while he was. I mean, the guy was 80. I mean, can you believe this shit? 80 years old, and that guy was. I mean, if he were a little bit healthier and feeling better, would have gone on tour to a U.S. tour at 80 with the fucking Rolling Stones.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It's the goddamn Stones. How do you?
I am nobody compared to him.
That's what I'm saying. That would have been fucking wild to have been able to see.
God, it's really weird. It's like I look at this, and having been a Stones fan for most of my adult life, at least, and a lot of my childhood, it's really weird as this generation of musicians starts to die. Because I mean, it's one thing when some of the other musicians that I had listened to when I was a kid pass away from some kind of sudden reason, like Whitney Houston, an overdose, car accidents, different accidents that happen to people, but. I mean,
Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain. But it's like this guy has literally been a part of my musical fan life for my entire life. And here I sit, 45 years old, almost a little bit more than half that guy's age, and he was still out there banging. I'm like, dude, I feel like I've done nothing in life. When I look at guys, when I look back at the history of a guy like this, I feel like I've accomplished absolutely nothing. But yeah, go down in the chat and let us know what you guys think about the passing of Charlie Watts. My question is what happens to the Rolling Stones after this? I mean, they were obviously planning this tour without him anyway, so I would imagine this tour probably still goes on. I gotta admit, I think they keep going.
They could,
because Mick and Keith. I mean, yeah, they're 200 years old each.
Yeah, I know.
But they still got it. I say got it until I say go and I say do it until it leaves you.
It's like I don't want to say. I mean, what was it? Zeppelin lost John Bonham, right? Mm-hmm. And then they said, no more. We don't want to do this without John. It's like, I could respect that.
Yeah,
but I'm like, no.
I understand that way of thinking, but it's like, it seems like it's most fitting if the entire band, like whenever they go, like they drop dead on stage. Like that would be entirely fitting.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't want to say like it's not a disrespectful thing. I'm like, well, you could get another drummer. It may not be the same. I mean, the same, like I said, with Avenged Sevenfold, I'm like, yeah, you can get another drummer. It's not. I know he's not the Rev, but you just keep it going, keep the train rolling. Now, when you do something like, if anyone's ever noticed my little 3 Days Grace right here, we know what happened with that. That when you lose your singer, that's a whole different kettle of fish. That's when it gets a little weird. I don't hate the new guy, and I love Adam Gantier's band Saint Asonia, because I'm like, well, that sounds like 3 Days Grace to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
keep going.
Let's hit the chat and see what's going on with you guys. Let's see. Oh, I scanned a little too far. Let's see. Penny the Pooh came back. What's going on, Penny? Really, I gave you your wrench back. Since you were on your, 9th or 10th account on YouTube now? Let's see what's going on. It said, JCS Foot Rub says, Frank looks scary when he smiles, looks scarier. Yeah, I know. I got to get my partial replaced. I've been putting that off for way too long. Really mysterious to talk about Carol Spinney, who played Big Bird, passing away in 2019. That's unfortunate.
Damn.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, documentary him was phenomenal. Yeah, if you're talking about the Val Kilmer documentary, then yeah, it's fucking awesome. Whereas Casey is racist. You know what? I think he might be live. He's always on. If he's not on with Drew playing second fiddle to him, then he's probably playing Fortnite on YouTube. So you can go find him there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next week, Frank it on. Yeah, okay, TSS. I don't know what you're talking about. But whatever it is, let's do it. Let's see. Penny the Pooh always playing Fortnite. Yeah, that's true. He's always playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Wait. TSS says it. He goes, wait, there's another CSI show. Yeah, I didn't even realize they were doing it until I came across this because I saw that on my entertainment news feed and I clicked on it. It was like he's filming CSI Vegas. I'm like, You mean the star of CSI Vegas, right? Like, no. And I got to reading. It's like, no, he's in another CSI Vegas, a sequel series. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
News to me,
Go
but
on.
whatever. Yeah, go on. Let's see. Randy Viper in the chat. What's going on, Randy? Cora says she loves CSI in Miami. There was
Miami's good.
That whole story arc about his wife, about what's his name, fucking
Caruso,
yeah, Caruso's wife getting killed. That story arc actually had me all sucked in. So there was a span of a month or so where I watched that show religiously. But I mean, for the most part, I watched them here and there, and they were okay, just not enough for me to like plan my TV watching week around. You know what I mean? Let's see. It's a great. Corey says it's a great story. God, isn't it though? It's like that he shaves and puts on his suit and walks in there and knocks Mick Jagger the fuck out. That is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's one of the.
How baller of a move is that?
That's one of the old school stories that you would hear from these guys from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that you don't hear about musicians anymore.
Yeah.
You don't hear. Yeah, musicians these days aren't that brave. They don't have balls big enough. I mean, and maybe there's one or two, but those guys are probably destructive in so many other ways that their careers aren't going to last that long. This guy's been doing it for, what, 60 years?
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man. Jeremy and I would keep going with the show if you died, Frank. Hey, I hope so. Let the movie talk keep going. Whatever. TSS says Fantasy Football Draft. Yes, it's probably not probably a pretty good time to mention right now. I believe it's next week. It is next week. Next Thursday will be the Derailed Fantasy Football Draft. So no movie news next week. If something really, really big happens, like on Tuesday or Wednesday, I might pop on a little early to talk about it. But unless something really, really big comes out, next week is just going to be about fantasy football.
So you will not see me.
Yeah, so you will probably not see Jeremy. Like I said, unless something really important pops off, maybe Jeremy will pop on for the first, we'll go on a little bit early, and then me and Jeremy will talk about the big news. But unless a really big trailer drops or there's some really big entertainment news, next week's all going to be about the Derailed Fantasy Football Draft. And I'm working on trying to design a little bit of like an award for whoever wins the league. Hopefully I will have at least some of that design done by the time Thursday rolls around, so I can give you guys a little bit of that. Cora says I was mentioned on Twitter by Jake DeMarco. Thank you, Jake DeMarco. Jake DeMarco does a whole lot of charity work. Follow him on Twitter. You can find him on my Twitter. I follow him. He's really smart about the wrestling stuff. I know there's a lot of people in the community that are into wrestling. A lot of people out there, period, are still into wrestling. Jake's a really great guy who does a bunch of charity work, so definitely go support his channel as well. Cora said something about a box. Okay.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? The only box I have has a head in it. It's right there.
Oh, man in the box.
It's got a face in it anyway. Not a whole head, just a face. Maybe one of these days I'll actually pull that out and put it on somewhere and do it on a stream. Ooh, Halloween is coming up. I could be V. I could do that. I'll do it.
Dude, I'll sit here dressed up in my fucking cave bullshit or the Leatherface thing that I'm working on.
Hell yeah!
Actually, that's over there, I think.
Yeah, I was talking. I was talking to Drew in the Derailed podcast, and I was reminding him that Halloween is on a Sunday this year, where he normally does his podcast. So I was telling Jennifer the other day, I was like, I have to have something really, really cool to dress up as, so that I can.
Oh, I'll dress up. You fucking know I will.
Oh yeah.
I'll do it the Thursday before.
JCS is trying to get somebody to come out here and box me. I want to. Oh, not afraid, but I'm sure there are people that have been in this chat before earlier today that would love to try to throw hands with me, but whatever. And then what just happened?
Surprise!
Hey! And then she pops on the screen with all my stuff up. Now my cameras are wonky.
I'm sorry. I wanted to surprise you and say hi at the end, and also tell you that story about the thing with the drummer and saying, "No, you're my singer." You should do an homage to that in your horror project and have someone get woken up in the middle of the night, shave, put a suit on, and go down and tell someone to fuck off in it.
That would be kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know how I would fit that in. But you see, the thing is, though, is it's a short, so we're not going to have. We're not going to have a whole lot of time to.
Okay.
No, I have to sit over here now because my face is like half on the. Damn it, Cora.
No, I got you. I straightened it out. Give it a second. YouTube will get you.
Damn it.
Sorry.
But real quick, Cora, I mean, what do you think of Downton Abbey, the new era. Some quick thoughts before we start to wrap things up.
The more, the better. I love it. There's so many characters and so many plot lines. There's an endless resource of options of where to go with it. I love it.
I would love to see like the new generation of the family of the Crawleys take over.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I mean, because you've got George, you've got Mary's son, Matthew and Mary's son.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see maybe at least a limited series of him in his 20s coming into his own and taking his role in the running of the estate. I think the hardcore Downton fans would be all over that.
Oh, totally.
And then recast Mary, and she can be the Dowager Countess. She can play the role that that Lady Grantham plays. She can be that mean old lady that's keeping everybody in check. I think that'd be a great way to kind of carry on the franchise. But I mean, we'll see.
100%.
I have theories about this new movie, but I'm going to keep those under wraps for now. For those of you who don't know, me and Cora have been trying to plan this thing for a while, but they keep moving the goalpost on me with the release date. Me and Cora are going to go and break down every season one by one in different videos of Downton Abbey, and then do a review of the first Downton Abbey film in the lead up to Downton Abbey: The New Era being released in March. So, So look forward.
It'll
to
be a fun winter project.
Yeah, we'll probably start doing that sometime after the first of the year, because I don't want to start doing them too early, because we've got another 6 months.
And there's football season with a fantasy football league.
And then there's football, so probably sometime after the first of the year, we're going to start doing those things kind of regularly in the lead up to Downton Abbey. Because you may not know it for my my bald, intimidating exterior. I have a bit of a tea timer. I do have this weird fascination with British aristocracy. I'm interested in the way it all works, and I did get wrapped up in these very deep stories of the Crawley.
Speaking of British aristocracy, did you see the trailer for the new Diana movie that has Kristen Stewart in it?
I saw the poster. I couldn't find the trailer.
I saw the trailer today. Oh shit!
I'll have to go check the trailer out.
Hold on. An Amber Alert just went out in my area. It's blowing my phone up. Holy shit! I
had a flood alert that blew my phone up about an hour before we went live.
Same.
But
anyways,
I know that they've released some of the new pictures and stills from the new season of The Crown coming up too. So I'm kind of excited.
I haven't watched The Crown yet. I think I might do that in conjunction with making notes about Downton Abbey stuff. So
yeah, British aristocracy.
I love Helena Bonham Carter, and I know she's in it.
I don't know that she's in this season. I think they may have recast. I know.
Really?
They recast the Queen.
Why?
What's her name? Well, because they're trying to, because she's in a later point in life. We're getting into the 80s to the late 80s, around 1990. This season is going to deal with the aftermath of the divorce of Diana and Charles, and a couple years later, the eventual death of Diana and everything the palace went through with that. Yeah, so I'm again, me and my weird fixation with the British royal family and British aristocracy.
It's not weird. I am. I follow this lady Murky Meg on Twitter, and she dishes all the news about the British aristocracy on Twitter.
I do follow the British royal family on Twitter and on YouTube. That's about as far as I go.
Well, anyway, sorry for crashing at the end. I just
Well, no, you're actually here just in time for us to wrap things up. So as I start to wrap things up, I will say to the Dowager Countess Lady Cora, where can the folks find you?
On your show or Drew's. That's pretty much it. My job literally was supposed to be 30 hours a week. It's between 50 and 60.
Same.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And so I'm like, well, they think I'm a superstar. I'm doing great, but I told them, okay, this is fine enough for fall and winter, but come spring, when the weather starts getting better, you need to find a third person in our little team here, because I'm not doing this for more than 6 months. So, yep. But yeah, they're alone. I was gonna do their little podcast thing, but I don't have time for that. So, yeah, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm gonna be here and on Drew's show and real life shit. So, and I'm on Twitter to goof around, to talk to people. So, I posted a picture on Twitter of hummus this week. I tried a new hummus that was amazing, and I had to share it.
Calm down. You're way too exciting for me with all this talk about hummus. It seems like this is what happens when you get old. You get excited over hummus.
Guilty.
We're at that stage in life now, Gora. And what about you, Jeremy? Where can the folks find you when you are not working your 90-hour-a-week job or on here screwing around with me?
Yeah, right? This won't shit anymore. Yeah. Besides that, usually somewhere on Twitter you can come abuse me over there, or if I ever get something in amongst all these packages, I'll be on Twitch.
Woo!
My friend got his PS5 shipped, and it's supposed to be here tomorrow, actually, and no, they keep saying it's in October. I bought mine, as you all know. I screamed very loudly on stream. I got mine the same day. It still is not shipped. It still says October, so who knows where that's going. I did a small unboxing just now. There's the 1974 tie from Texas Chainsaw Massacre right there. I love it. That's part of that outfit I was talking about. And we got this dope ass.
Oh, don't you start the haunted house stuff soon too?
Yeah, mid September. So interesting to see how those will go with my job, who seems to think that nothing else in the world matters but them. And they know that I do this house. It's not like I haven't been at this job for like 2.5 years. Like, you know I do this, so now suddenly it's a problem.
Well,
Yeah,
you know what?
Anyway, that's
it.
yeah, I know. That's Iron Man and his little the Infinity
Why
Stone.
isn't
Actually,
he smiling in it? Why is he frowning?
Because he's about to do the, you know. I wouldn't be. Look, I'd fucking smile at Thanos too if I was about to be like, "Hi, guess what, bitch? Boom." But
snapped off there, Thanos.
All right. The stones actually glow in the dark, which is fucking cool as hell. I don't. Now my dilemma, if you saw me like staring at it, I'm like, oh, his arm is actually specially wrapped up too, where the stones are, and I'm like, now see, do I take that off or do I leave it?
You should open all of them and take them all out of the box.
You can stop trying to give me advice now.
You should shut your mouth right now.
What would happen, you guys, if while you were on vacation, all someone did was come in your house and unpack all your little pop characters and throw the boxes away? What would you do?
You know all those guns that I keep in my house?
Right, same. What the fuck of all? What kind of petty shit is that? Like, who the fuck comes in and goes, I'm gonna wreck this guy's fucking pop figures? You are a special kind of asshole. Like,
I would kill them slowly.
No, you would not. You'd still have the dolls. They just would be in the boxes.
No, the boxes is part of it. Any collector will tell you don't take this kind of stuff out of the box.
Yeah. You remember that movie John Wick, right? Yeah. What happened to the dog? What happened after that?
Yeah, you thought he got pissed off.
Yeah. This is kind of cool. He's actually in a little case, so that's why I'm like, oh, this is a. Oh, the other one that's coming is there. You can see it now. Is I'm gonna call it Worthy Cap. It's like he's kind of surrounded by lightning. And he's got Mjolnir behind him. He's like dragging it. It's got lightning. He's got the broken shield up. He's like running through the lightning and shit. So that's the next one.
You know, Jeremy, I went to Trader's World 2 weekends ago. Jeremy knows what I'm talking about. It's big flea market thing. I'm sure you probably have something like that close to you too as well, Cora. But I was walking through there with my girlfriend and the kids, and it's like 80% of the stores there, all they sell is pop figures. And
really?
I didn't know. Don't tell me that. Oh, god damn it! No.
I mean, it's like because when you walk outside, there's a bunch. I mean, there's a lot of.
Are they more expensive or cheaper than buying them online?
It varies. Well, I mean, it depends. Online, you can find like the easy ones that like a lot of people are buying, but it's like they had some
$10.
Yeah, they have some specialty stuff there that I can't really find. Like even at the Funko website, like they don't really have those up there.
Well, this one was actually special.
Yeah, I was.
This one was like $24.
Yeah, I was looking at a couple.
You know what, Jeremy?
But I was like, eh.
I want to find some for you guys and take them out of the boxes on purpose and send them to you in a box, not in their box.
And then I'm going to return to sender. Because you wasted all that money, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, well,
he's gonna pull the head off and paint blood on it and send it back to you.
Right, Mike, it's already fucked, and I'm gonna do. Yeah.
I actually do have one that we need to get rid of. Dan's boss thought it'd be a funny joke to label everybody in their team a character on the Marvel team and get them the pop figures, and he got the Doctor Strange one, and we don't want it.
Don't want it? Do I even have a Doctor Strange?
No.
No, I have
I don't
Mysterio.
have
I don't have Doctor Strange. It's been a while.
Then I'll send it to you, Frank.
It's been a while.
Still in the box.
It's been a while.
It's
since
still
I
in the box.
It's been a while since I bought a Funko Pop figure, so it's probably about time I added a few more. I got to restock the bar too. I've only got 1, 2.
Well, don't buy the Doctor Strange
I've only got
one,
3
'cause
bottles.
that
I've
one's
only
going
got 3 bottles of liquor. I need to restock the bar too. But that pretty much wraps it up here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Cora, for popping in at the last second.
Can I say one last thing real quick?
Go ahead.
This is a little shout out to Buttercup. I know you went to the vet today and you're home resting. So love to Buttercup from Alice and I.
Much love to Buttercup. Buttercup's doing just fine, I'm sure. We're going to see Buttercup on here again eventually, I'm sure. But anyway, until next time, Jeremy, you can find him same name across all platforms, Grim Tuesday 13. Go find Cora.
23.
Yes. 23. Yeah,
23.
Sorry, 13's my number. 23 is yours.
Right.
Grim Tuesday 23 across all platforms. He's doing most of his gaming over on Twitch. So if you're one of the people that goes on Twitch, go check him out over there. That's where he does all of his gaming. And every now and again, you'll find me over there too, kind of riding his coattails in the video gaming world. But until then, and again, one more time, I just want to say thank you very much to Sith Negan for that big $200 donation. We really appreciate you coming and supporting
dude.
at that level. We really do. We're growing the channel here. I'm looking at doing some things that'll grow it more over the course of the next 6 months, and hopefully they'll get bigger. We'll get better. I'll start doing this kind of thing better, and I won't be so shitty at doing it sometimes. But that's going to come eventually.